All right, hello and welcome back to Season 1, Episode 6 of Borderline FPL, the podcast that constantly crosses the line between FPL advice and Premier League banter. My name's Chris.
My name is Ben, and a rather slow FPL week for some managers this week. A couple guys that, some big players hit, some didn't, but a difficult week across the board.
Yeah.
I had a good week, but most people I know were not crazy thrilled with their weeks. Some people had good, some people had bad, but
Yeah, no, it was definitely a solid one. It was one where it kind of showed some variance throughout a bunch of different leagues. It kind of showed who I think actually a lot this week kind of lucked out in terms of bench points and a lot of kind of if you didn't make moves this week, it probably benefited you in a lot of ways because I know a lot of players that weren't returning did return this week. So definitely an interesting one. But as always, let's go ahead and hop into the table at the moment, Ben, and this is what we're looking at.
Looks a lot better, obviously. At the top, Chelsea, Liverpool matching each other in quite literally every category imaginable.
Yeah,
like literally you can look at every stat that's shown there.
So I read, and I didn't know this. I thought somebody asked us this question and was like, what differentiates them at this point? And I thought it was literally alphabetical since they're identical and everything, but apparently it's because Chelsea tied Liverpool at Liverpool, so technically they were the away team, so they get benefit for that. So that's why they're ahead of Liverpool. Isn't that crazy?
I didn't know that. It's weird, but it's also like, I mean, it's been 5 weeks. It's okay. Like there's plenty of time. It's been 5 game weeks. So
yeah, no, for sure. But that was interesting for me because I didn't know that. I literally thought it was just alphabetical.
No.
So yeah, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, it goes to head to head, and then the away team takes the benefit.
That's very strange. But yeah, the table really settling in. Looks pretty common, bar Brighton sitting up there in 4th. Shout out Brighton. I've been gassing Graham Potter all season.
You have. Right? It's looking good. Who's their only L2? I'm forgetting now. Game week 3?
They're only...
Do you remember?
Ooh, I
don't even know. I'd have to go back and look.
I don't even remember.
But yeah, they're looking solid.
No, they looked... Was it Man United? Am I mistaken in that?
Did they play Man United?
There's a chance. I feel like it might have been. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We can look that up later. But yeah, Arsenal slowly climbing the table. And
we're on the first page now, Ben.
No, we're on the first page.
I didn't even have to scroll this time.
No, but if you want to scroll, if you want to scroll to the bottom to see the teams that are there, we can see the full table here.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed in Newcastle this season.
Are we shocked though? That's my question.
I'm not. No, Steve Bruce does this all the time where he has these terrible runs. And everyone's like, get Bruce out. And he goes on a great run. And everyone's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then he'll do it again. And it's a constant cycle. Norwich losing the derby between promoted teams this week with Watford. They're down really, really bad. And Burnley, of course, losing to an absolutely just terrific side in Arsenal this weekend. So
stop.
Tough that they drew us. But, you got to play us at some point. And it is what it is. So overall, I wouldn't say there's too many surprises, specifically at the top of the table, bar Brighton being like in that mix between Man United and Man City. That's insane to me.
Well, I think a big surprise, and we'll get into the results obviously, but was the 0-0 at the Etihad.
Yeah, the City one. Yeah, the City one. With the red
card. I didn't even realize that the red card got rescinded. So Kyle Walker stayed on the pitch. Did you know that?
No, but I know that Southampton should have had a penalty.
It was 11v11, and Southampton drew 0-0 at the Etihad after Man City started the season with 2 5-0 drummings.
Yeah, Southampton should have won. I think they should have had a penalty as well. If you look back,
great result by them.
Yeah, no credit where it's due. They're playing good. I think they drew Man United as well earlier this year. So. Yeah, and they should have won that one too. If I remember, Greenwood scored, but it was one that I believe that the goalkeeper would have really wanted.
What do you think in terms of how the table's shaping up right now? Do you think we both predicted City to win the league? Would you still, if we were making predictions today, would you still have them winning the league?
I'd like to see them play Chelsea this weekend.
Yeah.
So I want to answer that in a week, but yes, still yes.
Okay.
As good as Chelsea have looked, yes, I still think City have the firepower and the know-abouts, and they have Chelsea this week. So we'll see how that goes. That's obviously a big 6-pointer right there. But yeah, I'm not betting against Man City. I'm just not.
Okay, interesting. I think for me, I would change it. I think Chelsea's going to win the league.
That's fair. No, that's totally fair.
And I had them in second, so.
Yeah, and they'll play this weekend, and we'll see what happens. And
dude, if they're keeping a clean sheet with Kepa in net, They can do anything.
Yeah, but come on, like Spurs didn't even generate a chance against them. I'm not even saying
Yeah.
to slander Spurs, but I'm not gonna sit here and
Yeah,
act
no,
like
they've looked poor the last
like
2 weeks.
don't get me wrong. I'll slander Spurs, but this isn't what that's about. This is about like Kepa was never
Right.
tested. There was
Right.
never a shot that Spurs had that I was like, oh my god, if Kepa wasn't there.
Right.
No, it was a very very like walk in the park for Chelsea
Yeah.
this week.
No, I agree with you. But
So yeah, nothing too crazy other than that. The table really kind of Leicester a little bit low, honestly. They've been a little bit disappointing, but yeah. Anyways, let's get into the results from this past week.
yeah, let's pull it up, man. We'll start with the Friday fixture. This was a fun one just as a viewer, you know?
Yeah. Leeds really could have had 3, maybe 4 goals in the first half and just didn't.
Yeah.
Rafinha's goal, for those that didn't see it, it was a cross that Rodrigo jumped out
It
of the way.
was actually a really nice dummy from him.
And and the goalkeeper was frozen and it went in the back of the net.
Mm-hmm.
Bamford with a free assist, which is great because we both own him. Chris also owns Rafinha, so very good for him there. But really unimpressive from Leeds in the second half. Specifically, they kind of collapsed on themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we know that they are, they're injury ridden right now. They're I think they have 3 center backs at this point that are injured, and now Ayling may be injured as well. Ayling was filling in at center back this week for them. He typically plays right back, and it's definitely getting tough for them. Rafinha came off early. He may be injured as well. Definitely need to monitor that. But, Rafinha got the goal. It looked solid, and Saint Maximin, doing the business he looks so good. He's so fun to watch.
He's such a good player, man. He's so skillful. He's so energetic. You can tell he just like loves the fact that he's playing in the Premier League. Like if he's a guy that if Newcastle go down, I don't expect him to stay with them. He's too good to do that.
Yeah,
that's very early. I don't think Newcastle go down. By the way, Newcastle fans don't come.
I would say these 2 teams probably, other than Norwich, have the 2 worst defenses in the league right now.
Yeah, Newcastle. Yeah, Leeds when with their injuries, I can see.
I have no idea how this game ended 1-1. Genuinely,
Rafinha should have scored at least 2. The one he had that came across and he just sat on it.
Yeah, he just took way too long to take the shot.
He just sat, and by the time he finally decided to shoot, there was like 3 Newcastle.
Well, I mean, if it shows you anything, Darlow had 9 saves.
So. Yeah, he did, but. I mean, yeah, I think Leeds should have won the game. I think Newcastle, I mean, you take a point, you can get a point. You're a team at the bottom of the table right now. But Leeds have been – you had Leeds in like 6th this season.
Oh, yeah, no, I was way off with that. I mean, it's a long season. I still think they'll finish top table.
But they've been very disappointing.
Yeah, I still back them – actually, it really depends on injuries. But I still back them to finish top half if they can get back on track.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, not too much fantasy assets. We both own Bamford. Leeds, for those of you who don't know, have an incredibly friendly run of fixtures coming up.
Yep.
Just a lot of very, very – I think it's West Ham next week, and then after that, it's a very, very healthy run of good games.
Yeah.
So
and even West Ham at home isn't the worst for an attacking fixture.
It's not a terrible – It's
because
not.
West Ham haven't looked super good in defense,
I think they'll get better with Zuma coming in. He only played 1 game, but I think they'll get better.
Yeah.
Or 1 Premier League game.
Overall, I mean, I think Leeds players, if you have them, are a hold. I don't know if I'd be buying any Leeds players right now, other than maybe Bamford. If you're looking to get someone
the
out,
only one that I would
Rafinha,
really look at
you would need to wait for the presser because Bielsa's always very straightforward in his. He's actually probably the one manager in the Premier League who I fully trust in his.
He literally gave the starting lineup on like a Thursday last year because someone asked him, "Oh, is this guy going to start?" And he literally listed his 11 players that were starting the next day.
So he's the one manager in the league that I fully wait to listen to his press releases before I make any transfers. But I'm hoping Rafinha stays healthy. He looks solid. He was running rampant down the right side before he got taken off.
Yeah, he was having a field day against Newcastle, but
yeah, Bamford got the assist. I'll take it. I'll get into my transfers. Those 2 both were my transfers in this week. So for them both to get a return, I was happy with.
Yeah.
And anything else you had to say on these 2?
No, that's all I got. I mean, if you're a Newcastle fan, if you like Saint Maximin, he's the only one.
Honestly, he's been very consistent so far. He's returned in 3 out of 5 game weeks, and for a 6.5 striker, that's not bad.
He is, but there is also the possibility of Callum Wilson coming back soon, so he might take away some of that production. But that's all I got to say there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Meslier getting a lot of saves as well, but other than that, that's that one squared away. 1-1, and kind of disappointing on both ends. There should have been more goals in that game.
There should have been a lot more goals.
Moving on, Wolves lose 0-0. What am I? I'm a U.S. guy.
Yeah.
2-0.
2-0. I'll talk. I'll talk.
You talk.
So it was the Ivan Toney show. For those of you that didn't want to wake up early on your Saturday and watch Brentford Wolves, A, I don't blame you. B, all you missed was Ivan Toney showing what Ivan Toney does. He scored a penalty as cool as you like, had the assist for Mbeumo. Mbeumo, an interesting one, a 5.5 million midfielder playing striker for Brentford. This is his first real return of the season.
Finally,
but
he should have had multiple returns.
But if you're looking in that range and you're looking at someone like an Odegaard, a Smith Rowe, a Gallagher, and Mbeumo has to be one of the names you consider, I believe. I don't think he's the best option, but he's definitely one that if you're trying to take a punt, you want to gamble it, why not?
Yeah.
Wolves defense, disappointing. You talked about Wolves defense being something you might bring in. I stayed away. I still have Adama Traore, who I do not want to keep for much longer, but he's just continues to be disappointing to me.
Yeah, Wolves really surprised me on this one. I definitely backed them to at least put up a fight in this game, and they just looked really poor all around. Traore was trying to cross to Yao Ming the whole game, and
to who?
Yao Ming. He was just sending crosses like 7, 8, 9 feet in the air, bro. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And Tony, of course, finally has his best game week when I sell him, but
that's how it works.
I still I'm, and I'll talk about my team later. I'm still happy with that transfer overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Tony scored off a penalty anyways. It wasn't from open play, but he did assist Mbeumo well, and Mbeumo finally took a chance and finished. This man probably should have had 2 or 3 goals by now.
Yeah.
And I actually think we're all underrating him at the moment, because of the likes of, we've got the cheap priced Everton midfielders and Gray and Decore, and then we've got Gallagher, like you said, and even Odegaard scoring this week. There are some options at around that price, and I still think Mbeumo, probably not now because of the fixture run Brentford's about to go into, but I still think he's a good option because, like you said, he is playing quite literally as a striker with Tony in a partnership. So
yeah.
He will get a lot of chances. It's just whether or not he scores goals, and up until this week, he hasn't done so. But good to finally see him on the score sheet. If you have Brentford defense, well done. Raya looks like he was maybe the 4.5 goalkeeper to go with from the start. I don't think many people went with him, but he's doing the business. And Brentford actually have the second best defensive in terms of expected goals conceded numbers in the league, behind City.
Wow.
So really impressive from them from the start. It'll be interesting to see. They haven't had too many tough fixtures. I want to see how they fare in these next 3 to 4 games when their fixtures start to pick up in difficulty. Yeah.
We'll see, but very impressive start for them. Very disappointing from Wolves.
Again, and that's a tough one. I still think if you're on Wolves' defense, it's a hold for me for at least another week, maybe 2. When do their fixtures get tough?
I think they have another 2 or 3 good weeks of favorable.
So
fixtures,
I would still hold on their defense if you brought them in. If you brought in, a Connor Cody, if you brought in a Semedo, I don't know if I would be knee-jerking them out at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you're a Traore owner, and like you said, you're probably looking to get him out.
I'm tired of him.
What if you brought in Jimenez? What do you think about that?
Jimenez is a tough one because for not much more, you can go get Antonio or Bamford right now.
Right.
Specifically Bamford, who has an incredibly favorable run of fixtures, and then obviously Antonio is he's been incredible bar his red card the 1 week. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, if you want to trust
he's
Jimenez,
a sell for me, genuinely.
If you want to trust him, if you like him and you really believe in him,
he just
I
doesn't.
I
love him.
I'm not for Jimenez right now. I think that you should spend the extra point for and get Bamford.
Yeah, I love him as a player, but he doesn't look himself this season after this injury.
Coming back from the head injury, and it takes time. So
I'm hoping at some point he turns the corner because I really like Raul as a player.
Yeah.
But yeah, hasn't looked good so far. Really hasn't. So, anything else you had to say about this game?
No, just Traore, please score because I got you for 1 more week. So do something.
Who do they play next week?
I don't even know, man.
Okay, I'll look at it later.
Yeah.
Moving on to the
Game of the
absolute
week.
masterclass.
Yeah, no, game of the week from Arteta. Absolutely brilliant tactically. Pretty much a tactical perfection from Arsenal.
Dude, I'm finally wearing the
Odegaard.
shirt. Look at me.
Yeah, I mean, about damn time. I've been doing this since week 0,
Yeah,
but
that's your thing.
Odegaard with probably the goal of the season. I don't think I'm any wrong in saying that. Nick Pope really got shown who the best goalkeeper in England was during this game with Aaron Ramsdale.
That's true. That's actually
right.
true, though.
Dude, Aaron Ramsdale with okay, so
he was our man of the match. 100%.
Yeah, he was. No, he got voted that as well from the fans. Like literally, Arsenal tweeted out as the man of the match. If you're looking for a 4.5 million goalkeeper on a wild card, Ramsdale has to be in consideration. The only thing is, I don't know how long Arteta's gonna stick with him. If he's gonna give Leno a chance again.
Well,
Arsenal
surely he's not coming in next week, right?
That's what the rumor was.
No, but he came out and eradicated that rumor.
I know that Arteta denied it, but like Christian Falk is a very, very solid reporter. He's on Fabrizio's team, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So he normally doesn't report stuff that isn't true.
Yeah.
And obviously Arteta dismisses that, but I also don't think Arteta was just going to be like, oh yeah, I was going to start Leno next week anyways. So definitely might hold on Ramsdale for another week if you're wild carding or if you have the need to get a better goalkeeper in, because Arsenal will keep some clean sheets. They have some good fixtures coming up, and they have a good defense right now.
Yeah.
That being said, other than that, nothing from Burnley on a fantasy perspective. Good for Arsenal for sticking with it and getting the win. Going to Burnley and getting a result is typically an ugly fixture that you just need to buckle down and do it, and they did, so credit them.
Yeah.
And yeah, back into 13th, back-to-back results, back-to-back clean sheets. Even more importantly, that back four of Arsenal looking more and more solidified each game week.
Yeah, very, very happy with the defense specifically in this game, because there were, last year and the season before in this game, we would have conceded at least 2 goals.
Yeah.
And
we would have.
I would have liked Ramsdale to not had to have worked as hard as he did on some of these, but getting the job done is, like you said, it's tough to go to Burnley. It used to be, can you do it in a rainy night at Stoke, and now it's, can you do it at a rainy night in Turf Moor?
Burnley are always just going to do the same thing every game, especially at home. They're going to sit back, they're going to whip in about 50 crosses, and hope that Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes somehow either get ahead on them, get a lucky bounce, something falls their way. That's their strategy. That's what they do. It's ugly.
They literally are what we were for some of the season last year. Cross and pray FC. Yeah.
And that's what they do, and that's who they are, and that's their MO, and it's not going to change. And Dyche just signed a new deal, so it's really not going to change.
Right.
But if you can go there and you can win those headers and you can beat them at that and you can sneak out an ugly result, 3 points are 3 points no matter how you look at it. So good result for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Fantasy perspective, Aubameyang, 9.9. I still have him in my team. They have a good run of fixtures coming up, so I think I might hold.
Yeah.
Odegaard and Smith Rowe. I think Smith Rowe is 5.3. Odegaard's 5.5. They're in that conversation if you're looking for someone.
Yeah.
Odegaard's goal was a free kick. I don't know if that means he's always going to be taking them, but
I think it'll. It surprised me to see him on them instead of Pepe, to be honest.
Pepe's normally exceptional at free kicks, but obviously Odegaard delivered an inch perfect one, anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then Arsenal defense, back-to-back clean sheets. So if you own White or you're like me and you own Tierney.
Right. Yeah, if for Arsenal specifically, and wow, I have not said this in years, if I was looking to invest FPL-wise, I'd probably be looking more towards defense because moving forward, we have not looked exceptional.
No.
I don't know personally. Like, you have Aubameyang right now. I don't think he's a sell yet at all. Like, I wouldn't sell him if I had him
for a little bit.
But I also don't know if I would be looking to buy yet. I have tinkered with the idea because I am probably looking to wild card in the next 2 to 3 game weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, there is the cheaper options of, you got Saka at 6.3. I don't know if he's the guy. You got Odegaard at 5.5, and I'm looking to transfer out Emile Smith Rowe this week, who's at 5.3. So I don't know if I'd be going there. But
Pepe's at 7-2, and he does take corners for us. Not that we scored him
if Pepe can get his form back that he had at the end of last season, he's
just
definitely
the final
one to
product.
look at. Because it does. I will say this.
He's right there.
I will say this is last year I was worried about his minutes, and it looks like this year he's finally going to get a run. Like a proper run.
He's been having a good run this entire season.
He looks like he's our nailed right winger at this point. Would you agree with that?
I think it's a good thing too. I think he needs to build a little confidence and get on a run going himself for a bit. And once he hits form, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've seen what he can do. He had like 5 goals in the last 3 game weeks or something last year. Yeah. So when he hits form, he's good, but he needs to build that confidence up. Perhaps a goal against Tottenham's the best way. So we'll see.
But a lot of good value in Arsenal defense this year, FPL wise. So. You got 4.5 Ramsdale if he keeps his spot. You've got White, who's dropped to 4.4. You got Tomiyasu at 4.5 as well. I'd probably not invest the extra 0.5 to get to Gabriel, but they're all good picks.
Yeah,
and then obviously Tierney has for the extra 0.5 at 4.9 has great value for assist potential. Yeah, so that would be where I'd be looking for Arsenal perspective. Burnley, not much to talk about here, and I would probably avoid for. Actually, they have a decent run of fixtures starting in game week 8. Their defense may come into play once you get to around that time.
I'm pretty sure their center backs have scored more than their strikers this season.
Yeah. So
anyways, moving on to the FPL GOAT. If you didn't captain Salah this week, why? If you did,
wow, you're just out here slaying souls already.
I'm right, dude. I'm right. Like, you're gonna boo me because I'm right. He had a goal and an assist, almost 2 goals. His assist was a headed shot off a corner. Credit Gaeta, the Crystal Palace keeper, had a brilliant save, and it just fell to the feet of Sadio Mane, who was never going to miss from that range.
Actually, Sadio Mane is the best football player in the world, mate.
I was going to say he was never going to miss from that range, but I can't because Jota did miss from that range.
Dude, he's trolling us. He's actually trolling us.
He knows we brought him in, so whatever. But yeah, so Salah with another great game week, goal and assist. It's what he does. Van Dijk with the assist. He flicked another corner. That's 2 goals Liverpool had off of corners this week. Yeah. Very interesting to watch who's taking their corners and things like that, because assists could definitely come into play. Obviously, Van Dijk is a set-piece monster. So,
right. Yeah, and Van Dijk will score 2 to 3 goals this year, as he always does.
And then I'll pass this one off to you. The shock of the week, no Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, Trent coming up with I guess it was just an illness on Saturday morning.
They said it
not
wasn't
COVID related.
Right. So
one thing that we did not cover, just to bounce back really fast, Leeds, Jack Harrison did get COVID, so I don't know how long he'll be out for.
At least 2, I believe.
So if you have Jack Harrison, he's a sell for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trent woke up Saturday not feeling too good, and Robbo, I guess, just got a rest, or what?
I wish I had an answer for you. I think so.
I guess so. But yeah, both Liverpool fullbacks out for this one, still grinding it out 3-0 at home to Crystal Palace. If you, for whatever reason, still have Tsimikas on your bench, you probably lucked into some points this week with a lot of people being out. You
absolutely lucked into some points with this week.
So I guess congrats to you. And yeah, Liverpool look great. They're still definitely contenders for this title for sure. And
they're tied for first, so yeah.
And other than that, Palace were a little bit disappointing this game, I think. Not a whole lot to offer.
Gallagher Zaha almost scored.
Yeah, Zaha came close. Gallagher
not much.
Didn't look great in this game, but
he had Fabinho looking after him. You're not going to do much with that.
Or Liverpool
away. If you brought Gallagher in for Liverpool away, that's your own fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would agree. I still think he's a great pick moving forward.
I think he is going forward, but this week, come on, it's Liverpool away. You don't want to bring him in just for that. Yeah, so
I agree. And I think Gaeta is actually a decent shout if you're on wild card for a goalkeeper. If you're not willing to, take the risk with Ramsdale. Crystal Palace do have some good fixtures incoming, and I do think they will still be solid defensively. So he's not a horrible pick. But other than that, Mane getting a goal again. Nobody has him, Ben. Is he even on your radar?
I mean, I look. He's what, 10.9?
No. He's 12.
He's 12. Then no.
Yeah.
Absolutely no. Why would he be? There's no way.
I think maybe
he's not
it's
on pens.
Right.
He's not.
Well, it's never a situation where you're gonna have Mane over Salah, right?
Yeah.
But maybe at some point this season, and I haven't looked at their overall fixtures, but if they go into like a really good run, maybe a Salah Mane.
The only thing I can see is if you had Bruno,
right,
and you don't want him, but for some reason you also didn't want to do the typical Bruno to Ronaldo route, maybe go Salah Mane.
Yeah.
That would probably exclude you from Lukaku, but maybe not, depending on what you have.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to bring in Mane at the moment.
Yeah, personally. I agree. And the annoying thing, right, is why would you go Mane when Jota's starting at 7 0.6
because
at striker,
apparently
but
can't
Jota's
shoot,
not scoring.
so, yeah.
I still think, we do need to watch that starting next game week. Firmino is reportedly back in training. I don't know if he'll, start right away. They do play Brentford away this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he'll get thrown right back into the starting lineup, but Jota, he's not necessarily nailed. So
not right now. Well, he was, but if Firmino's back, he's not.
Right.
So
other than that,
we'll see.
Nothing else. Konate looks solid in defense. And, the GOAT, James Milner, coming in, filling in a spot for TAA.
James Milner.
Yeah. Boring James Milner.
Yeah, but boring gets you 3-0 results. Just as Chelsea and Tottenham.
That's right. And Salah with the absolute unnecessary
shirt off
celebration. Getting a yellow card.
It's 2-0 in the 78th minute against Crystal Palace at home.
And that's what we talked about this. It wasn't even like an amazing goal. Like, it was a nice finish.
It was a rebound.
But he scored way better goals than that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Dude, I'm not gonna harp on it. He was feeling swole.
I'm not gonna harp on it. Good for him. Enjoy your moment. I've never scored a Premier League goal, so I probably would take my shirt off too. So
yeah, that's fair.
Whatever.
You'd think somebody who scored over 100 Premier League goals wouldn't get that hype over that goal, but
Yeah, well, anyways, this one, you wanted to talk about this one because this one was
I just can't believe it. I just cannot believe
it. Surprising.
This one, Man City, first 2 home games of the year, absolutely drum both opponents, us being one of them, unfortunately.
5-0.
5-0 at home. And you're looking at Southampton coming into this, who've looked decent this season so far. They haven't looked
bad. They're not a bad team. They tied Man United earlier.
For a team that's literally known for capitulating in defense at home or away to Man City, if you had a City attacker going into this, you were probably licking your lips. I sold Mahrez because I had a feeling and knew he wasn't going to start after starting the UCL game. But if you had a Torres, you probably anticipated him to start. If you had a Grealish, if you went and invested in Gabriel Jesus for a 1-week punt, even, you were probably licking your lips for this game. But it was a 0-0 game. It was unreal to me.
No, it was boring, and I'll say it. Southampton should have gotten a penalty and probably won if they convert their penalty.
Yeah.
I thought there was a foul in the box. We both also predicted a City clean sheet, but I don't think either of us thought it would be like this.
Yeah, we backed City clean sheet.
Yeah, we did, and to be fair, their defense backed us, but I don't think either of us expected it to be like this. So really disappointing week from City. If you have a City defender, specifically Ruben Diaz, 2 bonus points, well done. But yeah, just a very disappointing and odd game from City. Maybe they're looking ahead to Champions League this week or whatever, the Carabao Cup this week. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're looking ahead to Chelsea.
The funny part about this one, Ben, was Pep spent this week begging fans to show up for this game. Remember? Yep. And then he was getting slated for it.
After the Champions League game, he said, "We want all of our fans to come out to the stadium this weekend. We need all your support to play Southampton." So he called all the fans out. They didn't come, by the way. There was plenty of empty seats. And then they have, not only did they draw one, they had 1 shot on target, Chris.
Are you serious?
Go look it up, bro. Go look it up. 1 shot on target the entire game, and he was begging fans to come watch that.
That's bad.
Yeah, so very disappointing from City. That being said, I don't expect that to carry on. No. Tough one against Chelsea this weekend, but if you don't think Pep will be able to get his team fired up, you don't know Pep Guardiola, so...
Yeah, disappointing, result for them. Unless if you're an FPL and you had City defense, then you're happy. Yeah, and there were plenty of people that also got lucky again, like I said, and got Livermento points, clean sheet off the bench.
I once I saw that result, I was kind of hoping that Zuma wouldn't play again, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, this was the week to forget to do anything for your team because you probably lucked out in some aspects. Yeah. But yeah, there's really not a whole lot to talk about here. I actually will be starting Livermento next week at home to Wolves, but we can talk about that later.
I don't blame you.
All right, 3-1, Ben. This is your game. Go ahead, take it away, brother.
When you wish upon a Sar, my guy, you wish upon a Sar, and you put him in your team, and you say, you know what? He didn't do well last week when I wildcarded him in, but I trust him.
Yeah, you do.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I trusted him, and he backed me with 2 goals.
He could have had 3 or 4, Ben.
He could have. He's the talisman for this team. 15 points for Sar, 6.0 midfielder, I feel like a genius. If you own him, you feel like a genius. Why? Because we are geniuses. That's why.
Yeah.
So absolutely brilliant from him. Pookie, your player pick of the week. You're five
Yeah,
for
gas
five.
me up. Gas me up,
Another
baby.
goal. Pookie, an open play too. If anything, I would have guessed he would have gotten a penalty, but it was open play. It was a good finish. But yeah, I mean, this game was really about one man, and that was Sar.
Yeah.
That was all Sar. He was brilliant all day. Had Norwich on the ropes.
Yeah.
Like you said, could have had 3. One interesting thing is Foster did start this game in net for Watford. I believe their other goalkeeper is
Bachman.
injured.
Yeah, Bachman got some sort of niggle or injury. I'm not sure.
So Foster did start.
Yeah, I don't think it's long-term injury
but
though.
He is 4.0. So I've seen people on Twitter discussing, do you think Foster will start? Should I put him in because Watford have a better matchup this week than I believe most people that own Sanchez than Brighton have? I think I think Brighton have a good matchup too. Actually, they play Palace, but either way, what a game from Sar. Credit to him. He's staying in my team. He got a price rise, I believe, like 2 hours after the final whistle blew on Saturday.
Literally. Yeah.
So I think he might even go up again. So us Sar owners might be making a little bit of bread here. But very happy with that. 3 bonus points as well. And yeah, that's all I've really got to say. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, from a fantasy perspective, great job to any Sar owners. There's a decent bit of you guys. If you wild carded prior to this game week, you probably had Sar in your team. Otherwise, you probably didn't. So that was a benefit there for sure. Like you said earlier, you're trying to set your team up for success in the coming game weeks. That's the goal of the wild card. And the other thing that's going under the radar here is both Josh King, who's 5.5, and Dennis, who's 5.2, both starting strikers for Watford, both getting returns in this game. King with 2 assists and Dennis with a goal. Now, do I think that they're necessarily super investable? Probably not. However, it does provide you that option, and I don't hate it. If you're trying to fit in, and we'll get into this later. This is one of our topics: is threemium or no threemium, and that's the term that's coined for going with 3 premium attackers or not. If you're trying to do so, this may be a way in. Is picking up maybe a King or a Dennis.
Yeah, I mean King also with 2 bonus points, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's Watford. I don't think they're going to score that many goals, and if they do, I think it's still going to be Sar.
Yeah,
and Sar is on pen, so I'd stay away.
Okay,
but good game from Watford. Credit to them. I believe they're in like what?
Yeah, Norwich are going straight back down, aren't they? It's just no question.
There was never a doubt.
Right?
They're the most relegated team, or I think they're actually tied with West Brom for most relegations in Premier League history.
Yeah.
So looks like they're going to set some record this year, but not the one you want.
Yeah, they look poor, and they don't even have any of the attacking magic that they did 2 years ago when they were up. Like there's no Pookie, and it's not like the Pookie Cantwell show that it was for a little bit or anything. I don't even know if Cantwell's starting consistently for them at this point.
He was coming back, I believe, from injury or something, so I think he's getting there. Or maybe he was just playing too much with the England U21s when he left. But yeah, I mean, they just look bad. I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. Right. They don't. I can't see them staying in the Premier League. They've lost every game. They haven't been scoring many goals. They're the only team to lose 5 straight. So yeah, it's a tough go for them at the moment.
Yeah. I still think Pookie moving forward is a decent pick. They have a good run of fixtures. Norwich, if they do score, Pookie's going to be the one to score for them. Let's be real. It's literally him or basically nobody. So
Rashika maybe, but it's Pookie.
Yeah, and Sar I still like for another game week, and we'll get into that later because he may be who I bring in actually this week for 1 week punt. So they've got Newcastle at home next week. Yeah, and like I said, I think they're one of the worst, defenses in the league.
Yeah. Sar could feast against that left-hand side or something.
Yeah. Anything else you had to say?
No, let's hit the last game of the day.
All right, let's hit it.
It was Villa versus Everton, and this was the Leon Bailey show. For those of you that didn't watch,
did you anticipate this game or this scoreline at all?
No, but after the own goal, I did think Everton would collapse and at least concede another one, which they did. But Leon Bailey, I believe he was subbed on in the 62nd minute or something around there. He assisted a goal, he scored a goal, and then he got injured in the 82nd and was named man of the match.
Yeah, he did a
So
whole and got a yellow card. He just did
yeah,
everything in that
no,
game,
he
bro.
literally did everything that you possibly could
He
do
came
in a
on for a
game.
stretch of like 20 minutes, scored, assisted, got a yellow, and got injured.
Yeah, so good for him. If you somehow had Leon Bailey in your
Nobody
team,
has Leon Bailey.
no one does, but they might now. He did pick up an injury, but I think he should be back. He was still on the bench, so he wasn't
I would
serious
wait.
treatment locker room, but I wouldn't go get him immediately.
Yeah.
Danny
Ings
Ings,
great assist for that Bailey goal, by the way. What a
yeah,
pass from him over
yeah,
the top.
he's been class for Villa since signing
Great
from
signing.
Southampton. Yeah, no, definitely a lot of people were
Matty
questioning
Cash,
that.
baby. Matty Cash.
Cash had a brilliant goal. He scored his first of the season.
Yeah.
Absolute screamer from him.
Yeah.
To really break the deadlock in what was, let's call it what it is. It was a pretty boring game until Cash really kind of the spark there.
I agree.
Everton disappointing. Digne's got to be the most disappointing. Okay, I'll give you this one. Who's been more disappointing in FPL, Digne or Harvey Barnes?
I knew you were gonna say Harvey Barnes.
Yeah,
it's gotta be Digne for me, genuinely, because every season, dude, I saw a meme the other day, and it was literally like, here's the Digne roulette, and it was like a pinwheel like you see in the game shows. And it was like, what points is Digne gonna get this game? And it was like -2, 15, -1, 0.
Yep.
Like, this man literally will either keep a clean sheet and score a goal and score you like 15 points, or he scored do you know he scored an own goal in every single season that he's been in the Premier League?
I did not know that. That's tough. That's really harsh, honestly. That's really harsh.
It's just ridiculous.
But yeah, he was disappointing. Obviously, still no Calvert-Lewin for Everton.
Yeah, well, I think that's the bigger, story.
Yeah, that's the bigger picture here is no Calvert-Lewin. Richarlison not filling his shoes.
No, Richarlison was out. He's injured as well.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
it was Rondon.
So both Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin are out for 2 to 3 weeks. So Everton are basically without a striker other than Rondon. So
Rondon was I'm blanking. Rafa Benitez's favorite though, for a while.
Yeah.
Rafa Benitez loves himself some Rondon because I guarantee you that if Benitez isn't the manager, Rondon's not in the Premier League.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So
he didn't look awful, to be honest. He had a couple nice touches.
He's a terrific presence in the air. Specifically, that was his bread and butter when he was back amongst the relegation sides, West Brom, Newcastle in his previous days.
Yeah.
But Damari Gray failing to score. I know a lot of people brought him in. Doucouré, it's the first time. It's like his goals in 5 weeks. I don't know why you're rooting against this.
Dude, he's just not. It's not sustainable. I'm sticking to that.
It's 3 goals in 5 weeks, and you still have Smith Rowe in your team. Relax. Relax. You've had Smith Rowe for 5 weeks. You would have rather Gray.
Whatever, man. That was the first game week that Smith Rowe started for me against a bad team. I had to let him have it.
Either way, we'll wrap up this game. But Martinez with a clean sheet, he's back in the fold. No one thought that the other goalkeeper was going to stick around. Cash with a good return. Leon Bailey, one to keep your eye on. I wouldn't jump the gun on this one just yet, but definitely one to watch if he's healthy and starts starting games for Villa. I'd maybe take a look. And then Danny Ings continuing to give not great but good output every week. So
if you are one thing I will say, last thing I have to say on this one is if you are looking for a 1 week punt. Next week, Everton play at home to Norwich. And thus far, every single player that has played against Norwich's left side defense has absolutely feasted. Sarr being the most recent culprit.
Yep.
And next week, it will be Andros Townsend up against the left side of this really, really poor Norwich defense at home. And they're without a striker. So they'll be looking for Townsend to provide some value, and I can see it happening. So that's my tip. If you're looking for a 1 week punt, I don't dislike Andros Townsend next week.
He's a good shout.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on. Oh, the only other thing was Begovic started in net.
Yeah, that's not going to stick.
Yeah.
Wow. Brighton. This was I didn't watch this game, but we both watched the highlights, and Brighton were very lucky to say the least to not only win, but they could have lost very easily.
Yeah.
The 2 goals by Leicester called back, both corners. Harvey Barnes was I don't want to put it on him because it's clearly tactical from your manager, from where your set piece coach is, to mark the goalkeeper, stand in front of the goalkeeper and block him from coming out and punching.
Right.
And he did that. And the first one was very suspect. They said he impeded Sanchez's view.
I thought the
And
second one was even worse, to be
that's what I was
honest.
going to say. I say the second one was even worse than the first, where they said the same thing. They said he impeded his view. I don't think Sanchez saves either if Barnes is or isn't there.
Yeah.
Simply, I just don't think he does. So Leicester, very, very unlucky to
Leicester probably
not.
should have won this 3-2. And the
Yeah,
scoreline does not do it justice.
no, the scoreline does not do it justice unless you're a Brighton fan.
True.
Leicester's goal was gorgeous. One touch footy, Vardy
Yeah.
smashing in basically into an empty net. Tielemans with the assist. For Brighton, Mape's goal was a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting that he's on penalties. I know Pascal Gross is still out. He is their typical penalty taker.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that changes up once he comes back. And that guy Welbs, love seeing him continue to score goals in the Premier League. I'm very happy for him. I read a piece on him, I think it was in The Athletic a couple of years back, where he's just talking about he knows he's not the young star he once was, and he just wants to keep playing and really doing this for fun. Family looks up to him for it. So yeah. I'm really happy to see Welbs getting the job done, basically. Great heading goal for him. So
yeah. Other than that, not a whole lot to say. If we didn't watch the highlights, I probably would have said disappointing from Leicester, but genuinely, they probably should have won this game. So yeah. It's a tough result for them, to be honest. And other than Vardy, I'm not seeing a whole lot of value out of Leicester because their midfield, like we've been trolling Harvey Barnes since game week 1. Yeah. But also James Maddison not providing a whole lot of value.
Maddison was booed off the field this game.
Interesting. Yeah.
Booed off the field is what I read somewhere. And I might be wrong on that, but I read that somewhere that he was quite literally booed off the field.
Yeah, they do have a good run of fixtures starting next game week, so I don't hate it if you go Vardy. It's a lot of money for Jamie Vardy.
What, 10.4? 10.4? Yeah. So I don't know. I would spend the extra 1.2 and get Lukaku because he's going to be better for longer and he's in a better team. And he'll play 90. Vardy obviously has a couple of good backup strikers with Daka and Kelechi sitting behind him.
Yeah.
So
one fantasy asset that's kind of going under the radar. Oh, I do want to mention Shane Duffy. It looks like he's pretty nailed in this team at this point. He did rise in price again. He's up to 4.3. So maybe not even worth going in at this point. But he does look nailed, and he will score goals off set pieces like he used to all the time. I mean, for years, their pairing in defense was Duffy and Dunk, so, I mean, they're very used to each other.
They're both still starting, yeah.
And so I think he's a decent pick, maybe on wildcard if you're trying to save some money. And then Trossard is really flying under the radar. He's scored a goal. He got an assist. And what is he? Is he 6.5?
I think he's like 6-0. We'll look.
Yeah, maybe one to look at. Other than that, nothing else to say on this game.
Yeah. Moving on to Manchester United, West Ham. Ronaldo again and again and again and again. It doesn't matter how old he is. It doesn't matter who he's playing.
He scored in every game for them so far.
Goals. He has 4 goals in 3 games for Manchester United, including one in the Champions League. That one came in a loss to Young Boys. But 2 games in the Premier League, 3 goals. If you brought him in once he signed, like we both did, you're very happy with that return.
Yep.
And then Jesse Lingard, love seeing him score. I really love that he didn't celebrate as well against West Ham, the team that kind of gave him that renaissance, of his career. So I like, because Bruno and Ronaldo are pushing him to the crowd to celebrate. And that might partially be because to let the crowd applaud him, because for those of you that don't know, in the Champions League game that Manchester United played, Lingard cost them the game. Essentially, it was 1-1. I don't want to say Lingard cost, because Basaka had a red card and they really didn't do much. But late in the game, Lingard was trying to play a back pass to either Lindelof or De Gea. And he played it straight into the path of the Young Boys attacker, who took one touch and rifled it home in like the 94th minute, and they lost the game. So really good for him to score. It was a banging goal too. And then I'll let you talk about Benrahma because you weren't happy about it.
Yeah, I think number 1 hatred award this week for FPL-wise goes to Benrahma owners. I hate you. I despise you. You don't deserve your 10 points. It's absolutely ridiculous. Number 1, I'm not even sure the shot was initially on target, but they gave him the benefit of the doubt and said it was, so that counted as a goal. But it ricocheted off 2 people and went in the other side of the net that he was shooting for. So very lucky goal. And the thing that really made me mad is the 3 bonus points. This man did not deserve the 3 bonus.
I don't get that. De Gea deserved the 3 bonus.
Either De Gea for the saved penalty, by the way, which we haven't even talked about,
Yeah.
or Fabianski had 8 saves. Either one of them could have gotten it.
I would have had to give it to De Gea for the last-minute penalty save.
Yeah, no, I agree. What's your thought on that, right? So Noble gets subbed on, and his first touch of the ball is to take a penalty. What do you think about that from a managerial perspective?
I don't like it at all. I think you don't give that to a guy who's that cold. Specifically in a game of that intensity, hasn't been playing it. He doesn't have the feel for it. I don't like it. I think you have other penalty takers on your team. You could have let Rice take it. He's taken penalties for you in the past. Not the best, but he could have. Ben Rama, you have there's someone else. And if it's a pre-training ground thing that Noble's our club captain, he takes penalties, so be it. And obviously I can sit here all high and mighty and say I don't like it, but if he had scored it, you look like a genius. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm not the biggest fan of giving penalties to players fresh off the bench.
Yeah, but I mean, we saw it this year in the Euros.
This summer in the Euros with Sancho missing, Saka getting
Sancho and Rashford mission.
Rashford literally came on to do that. Literally just that. Saka had played a good amount of the game. But Sancho and Rashford were subbed on just for that. And Rashford specifically has made pressure penalties in his career before, but still couldn't do it.
Right.
So I don't like it. Man United, fantasy-wise, I'm very Bruno out. If you have Bruno in your team, I'm very Bruno out. But and then you get to the question, we've both talked about it. How long are you keeping Ronaldo past this week?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think it's one that you need to almost make your mind up about before this next game week, right? Because I'm at the point where, and this is just me, and it could completely backfire because he is one of the best goal scorers, and it is very, very obvious how much they're looking to get him the ball, and he just shoots on sight consistently. So he could bite me. But the way I'm thinking right now is regardless of, he could score 4 goals against Aston Villa this upcoming game week, and I'm probably still selling him going into the next one. Just because of
tough run.
Yeah.
Tough run.
And I just think Lukaku will outscore him. And that goes into the question that we'll cover in a little bit once we wrap up these fixtures of Threemium or no Threemium. Do you want both of them? Do you not? And we'll get into that. I'll even bring up a draft of, kind of both of them in them in the draft and see what you can do if you still keep Salah. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's one of the biggest decisions that we'll have to make in the next 2 game weeks. Is keep Ronaldo or sell Ronaldo if you have him. And, you're big Bruno out. I'm probably Bruno out as well. He did drop in price. He's 11.9 now at this point. He should have gotten the assist if Ronaldo put away the first goal, but since the first attempt was saved, he didn't get the assist for it. Kind of unfortunate if you're still a Bruno owner. But, yeah, De Gea having a great game, penalty save in the last minute to keep the win. And
still no penalty for United since Ronaldo's joined. So that mystery,
right?
I think it's going to be Ronaldo.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. It seems like they're like everything, the way that they're playing, just in terms of offensive football, is just get the ball to Ronaldo, anyways.
Yeah,
so
I think he's the focal point of any team that he's in. But enough on Ronaldo. Let's move on to the final game, where it was just Tuchel masterclass.
It really was. It really was.
Tottenham were never in the game.
It was 0-0 at half. Give them credit. They had a decent first half.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they were like they weren't forcing the issue. They weren't causing Chelsea problems. And then Tuchel with the tactical genius to bring on Conte in replace of Mount
at half.
I
love that from a manager.
Chelsea's player of the season last year, yanked at half for a defensive midfielder. He said, this isn't working. Bring on another defensive midfielder. We're getting better possession, and they bodied them.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva.
And N'Golo Kante just came on and completely changed the game.
And he scored.
Yeah.
He scored. I mean, it was a
very lucky goal.
Big deflection, but he scored. And 2 center backs scored. I'm a Rudiger owner, so I was buzzing. Clean sheet and a goal for Rudiger in the 93rd minute. He scored. Thiago Silva, I think he's what, 6 mil? He's a little more than Rudiger, right?
Thiago Silva he's 5.5.
Is he 5, the same as Rudiger?
Yeah.
Yeah. So either one of those are good options. They both look pretty nailed.
That's the thing defense. Is I don't know, right? And this is one of the topics. Let's just go ahead and get into it, right? Chelsea defense is one of the things that we wanted to talk about on this week's pod. So at this point, they have 4 good center backs, and that's Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Christensen, and Azpilicueta. Azpi played right wing back this week, so it looks to me like Azpi's going to play every game week regardless. He's either going to play at right wing back or he's going to play as one of the 3 central defenders.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that if Azpi is playing right wing back, then Thiago Silva, Rudiger, and Christensen will all be the center backs. However, if Azpi is playing as one of the center backs, one of those 2 of Thiago Silva and Christensen will drop out of that.
I think Rudiger is about as nailed as you can get.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think Rudiger's nailed. I think Rudiger's nailed. I think Thiago Silva's the one. If they're the same price, get Rudiger. Get Rudiger, get Rudiger. And if you want to do a double up on Chelsea defense, because you have a Chelsea midfielder or attacker, if you want to go all 3 Chelsea defense, I mean, bold, but go for it.
Yeah.
But Marcus Alonso's the one he's 5.7. He's risen twice.
Yeah.
Might
he's
rise again.
He's probably gonna rise again before the end of the game week.
Been playing every minute of every Premier League game. Chilwell can't do anything but sit on the bench these days. 50 million for Chilwell to sit on the bench is very disappointing.
Did you see the tweet that I sent you?
I believe so. Yeah.
It said, somebody said 50 mil for Ben Chilwell to sit on the bench, and then somebody rearranged the lettering and it said bench Ilwell.
Yeah.
Literally class.
I mean, it's tough for him because, you get that big move and you win the Champions League, you start the Champions League final and you come back and you're not a wing back like Alonso is. Alonso's a better wing back. I've been saying that since I think our second pod when we saw he started 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Other than that,
as long as they're sticking with this 5 in the back, I don't
it's going to be Alonso.
Yeah.
It's going to be Alonso. And maybe in a one-off game week, or if there's a lot of games for them with Champions League and stuff, right, I could see Chilwell stealing a game every now and then.
Yeah, I agree. It's either that or until Alonso makes a really bad defensive error, which he might do at some point. Yeah, but until he does, I think he's with him. Yeah,
and he's attacking and he's taking corners. He's good.
Well, I even told you earlier in the season is Alonso used to be an FPL darling back when.
I know.
Back when Conte was
when Conte's the manager at the back. That's what I knew about Alonso, because he was the best wing back in the league. He was in the team of the season. So, flip the script to Spurs. Lloris was 6 saves. Kane, was he playing? Because it didn't seem like it.
Dude,
he was awful.
They're struggling big time. They now that they've played, I was about to say 2 good teams. They lost 3-0 to Palace last week, but
they beat City 1-0. But yeah,
I just don't. They are definitely. Okay, here's my question to you. Right, are they any better off firing Mourinho now that they have the new manager in? Are they better off?
Are they better with Nuno now than they were with Mourinho?
Yeah.
No, Mourinho's so much better than Nuno in every aspect of managing, bar creating a happy media atmosphere. Yeah. And then, he has his rifts with players, but I think you could look at any club and see a manager having rifts with players. Mourinho's just a little bit more public about it.
Right.
So, no, I don't think that bringing in a manager who just failed with Wolves to even get in the top half of the table is going to do better than Jose Mourinho. And I know he's in the honeymoon phase, but he's doing bits with Roma right now.
Yeah.
So, no, I told you from week 1 I don't like the Nuno hiring, and he won 3 straight and beat City, and you were like, come on, what do you think? And I'm like, no, trust me.
Yeah, I mean, I still think we need to give him at least the first half of the season before we really make a decision.
Give him time, but we're seeing Spurs capitulate here, and
it's the attacking numbers that really worry me, right? Because Son came back into this game, so he was in it. It's almost the exact same lineup. Actually, maybe a little bit more improved.
I think it's better than what they fielded against City because Ndombele was playing, and he's better attacking wise.
Right.
And it's nothing.
The only person they were missing from this game was what's his name? Bergwijn, yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and rate Bergwijn as some game-changing winger. I think Lucas Moura and him do more or less similar job.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Spurs, big one this week against Arsenal. You can throw form out the window for a North London derby. So,
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
There will be goals in this game regardless.
There will be goals.
That's why Kane will score. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, Kane will score a goal against us.
I think Alba will score.
Kane literally always scores against us. So
yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It should be a fun one.
Yeah,
and yeah.
I think we about covered it. Let's just really quickly. We did spend a lot of time on it, but if you had to order Chelsea defense players in order of who you'd have. Do it again for me. Top 5.
Rudiger, Alonso, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Reece James.
Okay. So you got Reece James all the way down at 5. So I think this is what I think. I think in games where they're playing top 6 opponents, and obviously, we can make a joke about Spurs, but traditional top 6 teams, I think they will play at right wing back. I think against teams that aren't as good, I think Reece James will play at right wing back.
That's why I marked him so low, because I don't know his starting consistency.
Right. I still really rate Reece James. If you brought him in, hold, because I think he will go back into that role, probably starting maybe not next week for City, but for games that you really want him against bad teams, I think he's going to start, 3 out of 4 games at least. Yeah. So I still rate him. For me, it would be Rudiger for nailedness, and then, like you said, Alonso, and then I still got Reece James at 3, and then probably Aspi, because Aspi's just expensive at 6. And
I think he's expensive, but I think he's also about as nailed as you get.
Yeah, and then I would actually go Christensen at 5, because he's
over
5.
Silva?
Yeah, because he's 5 mil, and I still think he'll start a good bit.
So. I get that. I think Thiago Silva, obviously with his age being a big factor, he's 37. So. Yeah.
Well, had a heck of a game week this week. So
no, incredible for him. If you had Thiago Silva, congrats. Goal, 3 bonus points. So well done.
Yeah. So this is the one thing I will say is I can see games like this for Chelsea when they win 3-0 and Lukaku's not on the score sheet. But I can't see a situation where United win 3-0 and Ronaldo's not on the score sheet. Would you agree with that?
I think that it would have to include Rashford being back. And I think it would have to include Sancho finding form.
Yeah, but for the most part,
right now, the way they're playing, no. Ronaldo is the focal point, so no. Lukaku is the focal point to start their attacks, but not always finish them.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
We'll see.
All right, well, that about wraps up the results.
Do you want to do your team first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull up my team as always, since I'm already sharing.
Yeah, you're already on it.
Yep. This was me for the week. I finished on 63 points, above average. It was a red arrow for me. Well, it's technically it was 63 minus 4, so it was 59 for me.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the moves that I made. Mahrez did not start and came on for a 1-pointer, so to replace Rafinha with him was great. We could sit here and talk hindsight of I should have just left it there and not taken the -4 to get Bamford in because Tony scored and assisted this week. And maybe you're right.
You're not just buying Bamford for this week. You're buying Bamford for the next 5.
Right. And that's the thing about -4s is people are like, oh, you have to get those points back immediately. No, but you don't. Right? So, I still back Bamford to outscore Tony in the next 5 to 6 game weeks by a lot larger of a margin than 4 points. So I'm still happy with that. If I had Tony in my team right now, I would be wanting him out this game week anyways. And I dodged 2 price falls in Mahrez and Tony because they both fell again. So I'm happy with that. I have no qualms there. I'm not going to sit here and talk about hindsight bias. White getting the 7-pointer, the extra bonus point for me. Very happy with that. I'm very happy that I kept with him from the start of the season and planned for our good run of fixtures, and our defense is looking solid. So I'm very happy with that. And Luke Shaw is a bit disappointing. He'll leave for me when I wild card, but he won't leave until then. Smith Rowe is probably who I'm moving out this game week. I do need to monitor Rafinha's injury and Ayling's injury. If Ayling's injured, I'm not concerned about it. I'm not touching him. If Rafinha's injured, I'll consider it, but I'll still probably just leave him for the game week, to be honest. We expect Alexander-Arnold to come back in next game week, and I will have Antonio returning as well. This is what I'm looking at to line up with next game week. I've got Antonio back in the starting lineup against a really, really beaten and battered Leeds defense. I'm very excited about that. I actually think he's a captaincy option for next game week, and we'll get into that when we talk about captaincies. I'm starting Timo Livramento next game week at home to Wolves.
Wolves have been abysmal. Why not?
They could score, but my other option is Ben White at home. I think Tottenham will score on us. They almost always do. Yeah. So I'm happy to sit him there for the week, and I'm absolutely not starting Ayling
No.
against
God, no.
West Ham,
Yeah.
especially with Antonio having a rest and being eager to score. So this is how I'm
And who are
looking lining
you?
up. It'll probably end up looking like this for me. I'll take out Smith Rowe. And the two under contention for me at the moment are your boy,
Yep.
Ishmael Assar. So I
Monster.
could pop him in for a game week. My
Yeah, no.
plan at the moment, most likely, and this could change, is to wild card ahead of game week 7 to attack Chelsea fixtures and to, just fix up my team in areas that I want to. And the other one under consideration for me, I have up to 6.3 to spend or something, so
Hmm.
I can't get Ben Rama. I don't even think I would want him if I wanted to. The other one would be possibly Gallagher at, I think they are away to, no, they're at
Right.
home to Brighton this week, and
They do have a
that's
good
technically
run
a
coming up
derby match for
soonish.
them.
Yeah.
So I could see Gallagher returning, and then the other one I had in contention was possibly the one that I mentioned earlier on, and he's not on here, but it would be Andros Townsend.
Yeah.
So
He's
those
not a
three
bad
are in
shout.
contention for this Smith Rowe spot. I will probably pick one of them as a 1 game week punt, unless I really have to change Rafinha, and then possibly I will and just keep Smith Rowe, even though I don't really want to keep him. So
Yeah.
that's how I'm looking ahead of game week 6, and I'm pretty happy with it. And this game week is kind of a let's ride one last game week before I wild card, and then I'll get the exact team that I want. So I'm excited for that. Unless something changes, I may consider wild carding in game week 8 instead of game week 7. But those are my thoughts at the moment.
Yeah. I'll pull up my screen real quick.
Yep.
So here's my game week. I finished on 79 points.
Great
Very
game week
strong
for
game
you.
week. Yeah, very strong. Sanchez with 1, Rudiger obviously with a monster haul, Tierney
Yeah.
with a clean sheet, Zuma couldn't get it done against United. It's tough, but he does have some better fixtures, like some good fixtures in here, some tough ones, some good ones. A good run later, so I might take him out for a little bit and then bring him back. But I do always back him as a goal threat, which is why I brought him in.
Mm-hmm.
Traore really letting me down, but he keeps having good fixtures, right?
You gonna keep him?
He's that guy that I keep saying I want to get rid of. I think I'm going to keep him for one more week. For 1 week, I'm going to keep him because I can get 2 transfers and
Okay.
make some
So
more
your
moves.
your plan is to roll at the moment.
I'm rolling at the moment. I'm not going to use my 1 transfer.
Okay.
Salah, obviously a great haul. Jota has been really disappointing. He's someone I'm monitoring, specifically with Firmino coming back, someone that might not last that long for me.
Yep.
Sar, I mean, good God, like what a week, son. Abba didn't hit this week, could have had a goal, but still some really nice fixtures coming up.
Yep.
He always performs in the North London Derby. For those of you that don't know, he has a terrific record in the North London Derby.
It's going to be the Kane versus Alba show as always, I think.
Brighton away, Palace home, Villa home. Like it's just very good fixtures for him. Ronaldo's definitely someone that I'm considering getting rid of soon, and that's why. Right there. Yep. Not a good run. Liverpool, Tottenham, and City, Leicester as well. So it's, I don't know. And he did not perform well against the Big Six in Italy last season.
Yeah, that's something we talked about earlier on. I don't think we've mentioned it on the pod yet, but I did do some research into looking at how he did against the top 6 in Italy in Serie A, and he scored 2 goals in 10 matches, one of them being a penalty against the top 6 Italian sides last year. And that was in a team that, we think that he's the focal point in this United attack. He was
everything to Juventus.
Everything to Juve.
To Juventus. So, yeah, basically for transfers, I'm not making any this week. I'm just going to ride with it because I like the matchups that I have. But maybe after, it could be Ronaldo leaving. And I want to bring in Lukaku. Ronaldo and Alba are both options to leave.
Yeah.
Jota is an option to leave, and Traore is an option to leave. I think I'm going to hold Sar for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe just for 1 extra week against Leeds. And then
the Leeds fixture's not bad,
It's not bad, so I might keep him when I get 2 and then use my 1 free and have like some money in the bank after my 2 to upgrade him to someone potentially. But I think I can keep him for at least 2 weeks, specifically after what he just did. Also, if you want to buy him so his price goes up, that'd be awesome. But yeah, Ronaldo is definitely someone I'm considering. But those 4, Alba, Jota, Ronaldo, Traore, 2 of them will probably not be in my team after this week. Which 2 they are and who will replace them, I don't know. Tweet me your suggestions because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But that is where I'm at. But yeah, 79 points. I'm thrilled. Rudiger hit, Sar hit, Ronaldo, Alba. Very good game week for myself.
Yeah, for sure. And you should be happy with that. I think a lot of people were around the 60 low 60s mark this
Yeah,
week. So to hit high 70s and anybody that hit 80s, it's a great game week for you. You definitely
incredible game week.
definitely made some ground there for sure. So Ben, let's talk about. I want to talk about Threemium or no Threemium. Then I want to talk about captaincy options. And then I want to talk about our player picks, and then we'll get into questions to wrap it up. I do also want, sorry, so we'll go with, what did I say, Threemium or no Threemium first?
Threemium, captaincy, player picks.
Let's talk about best formation moving forward as well. That's one thing, and then captaincy, and then player picks, and then questions, and we'll be done.
All right.
So what are your thoughts on Threemium versus no Threemium? And for those of you who, I think I already said it, but it's basically keeping 3 premium options in your team attacking wise. So it would be looking to keep 3 of Ronaldo, Lukaku, Salah, Bruno, any
Mane,
of those 3.
Someone like
any
that.
of those 3.
Anyone that's like over 10.5 million, basically. Like a Vardy, I'd count Vardy as well.
And even and maybe even, I would consider TAA as the one
defender. He's 7.5, but yeah.
So
I'm not opposed to Threemium depending on who it is. Like I said, I've been very vocal about this. I'm very Bruno out. So if you're doing a Threemium with Bruno, I think you're wasting money. I think Lukaku is someone that a lot of people are going to want ahead of next week, just because of his price, and you can pull up the fixtures again if you have.
Well, I want to just like tinker with a draft for people to see kind of what the balance comes out to, right? So, let's
Salah, Ronaldo. You can get rid of
do this
him too, and then get in Lukaku.
So we got select replacement, Lukaku, and then this is where it gets tricky, right? So if you want a Chelsea 26. Defender, if you want a Chelsea,
go get Rudiger. Okay. He's the best bet, honestly.
If you want Rudiger in here, and then you're probably going to want either one of Antonio or Bamford, right?
Yep.
So let's go with the cheaper one at the moment. Which actually I think they're the exact same price. So
they are.
Let's just restore player, and then
you have 3 positions that you're
3 positions for 13.5. So that averages out to.
That's why I don't like it, because
like 4.5 a position.
I guess if you count Trent here, then you have 4 premiums.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's too much of a risk, specifically with the contrast that United and Chelsea have in fixtures coming up. I don't think there's a need to have Ronaldo and Lukaku. If you want to gamble on Ronaldo being Ronaldo and getting more results than Lukaku, you can. I think obviously statistically it's going to point to Lukaku being the one that's going to get better return over those weeks. But I just don't see it. And if you're taking Salah out of your team, I disagree with you. So I just don't see it being the best thing in the world. I mean, yeah, you can do that and go get some cheap players here and there, but I disagree with the Threemium concept at the moment with the fixtures that people have lining up.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't disagree with you. It's just like, I don't know, I just don't think, I don't like the sacrifices that you have to make in order to get these 3 players in. Now, could it eventually pay off for you? Yes.
Yeah.
It could, but I don't like it. That's kind of where I'm at the moment.
I agree.
So, I mean, it's definitely something that you can do. If you want to keep Ronaldo, go for it. If you want to balance out your team, you have to sacrifice one of TAA, Salah, Lukaku, or Ronaldo. Because if you have all 4 of these guys, your team just comes out as
too expensive.
So
it's too expensive. Simple as it's too expensive.
Yeah.
So Threemium, your decision, but I would advocate against it. Captaincy options.
Let's talk about best formations moving forward.
Best formations. So defenders have been outperforming midfielders lately just due to how important clean sheets are, which is uncommon. But we talked about this off the pod earlier, but there aren't just a ton of like middle ground, mid-priced midfielders
Right.
within the 6 mil to
And
7.5
I'll pull
range.
that up real quick because
Yeah,
that was good to
midfielders
look
in
at.
midfielders in the 6 mil to 7.5, 7.7 range that we just like love. Like, yeah, there's some gems, yeah, there's some
So
good ones.
this is what you and I discussed earlier, right? Is
Yeah.
if you look at this range between Son and all the way down to like Rafinha, nobody really stands out, right? So Spurs not looking great right now. Rashford's still injured. Sancho hasn't embedded. Mahrez rotation risk.
Doesn't play.
Havertz, hasn't impressed that much. Grealish is getting the minutes, but he doesn't look like he's getting the goal
Grealish
output.
is I think he's one of the better bets in this scenario.
I agree, but I don't think he's gonna consistently perform FPL wise like he did at Villa. He's not the main focal point anymore.
He doesn't have to be.
Yeah. So and then Pulisic injured, Foden not back in the team yet. Pogba playing as a number 8. Jota is going to be a rotation risk soon. Greenwood has regressed to the mean now with Ronaldo in the team. Ziyech rotation risk. Mount got yanked at halftime. Gundogan, Pepe maybe. He actually may be a decent pick if he can find form. Torres rotation risk. Zaha, I'd rather just get Conor Gallagher personally.
Yeah, but basically the point of this is there's not a ton of great options in the midfield. Right. Whereas if you hit a clean sheet on a defender around that same price, because you can go get a João Cancelo, a Ruben Diaz, and sacrifice midfield for defense, which is honestly something that I'm considering doing here soon.
So I would say I would favor a 4 in the back formation moving forward. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree, and I might be making that move soon here once I get 2 transfers or something.
Yeah. So a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 even? I would say a 4-3-3.
I'd say 4-3-3.
Yeah.
4-3-3. So I'd say a 4-3-3 if you're trying to wild card. If you want to go the premium up top, maybe you can get someone that's not Trent in defense. Mm-hmm. Which I'm not opposed. I don't have Trent in my team. I know when he hits, but when he misses. So, and Liverpool do have a couple tough fixtures coming up. So if you want to save now and then maybe bring him back later, I get it. Chelsea defense, obviously we've talked about it. That's where you should be looking. That's
Chelsea and City defense, actually.
Chelsea and City defense, both very good options, both terrific records, both terrific results, good run of teams that they're playing against.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would definitely highlight the defense. And like, don't get me wrong, when you hit on a midfielder like I did this week with Sarr, it feels great. You feel like a genius, but it's few and far between.
Right.
There aren't many midfielders that are doing that constant output bar Salah.
Right.
So,
yeah. No, I agree with you. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about is just that I personally think, and this could easily change at some point this season. There probably will pop up with a couple great options within that range that we just went through. But right now they're just not. They don't look that enticing. So if I'm on wild card this week or in the coming weeks, I'm probably looking to maybe invest a little bit less in midfield, which is really weird because last season we were trying to fit 5 midfielders in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting one, but FPL is one of those games that you got to adapt to how the game's going. So I agree with that. Moving forward with captaincy, let's go ahead and bring up the fixtures.
Yeah. So obviously Salah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Ronaldo's not a bad shout. Liverpool play Brentford. Salah's a terrific shout. Ronaldo against Villa. You can make a case for Antonio against Leeds. Mm-hmm. You can make a case for Vardy against Burnley.
Give me your top 3.
Salah.
Okay.
Ronaldo.
Okay.
And let's go with Antonio. Why not?
Yeah. So I agree. For me, I think Ronaldo having the home fixture, I would put him above Salah. So I would say Ronaldo, Salah, and Antonio. But I think all 3 of those are great options. And genuinely, I just have this gut feeling that Antonio is going to absolutely destroy this Leeds defense.
Yeah.
And right now I have the captaincy armband on Ronaldo.
Because you might switch it.
But I might, man. I really might.
I don't blame you. It wouldn't be a terrible shout. He's fresh. He's rested. He did play in Europe on Thursday. He scored. He was given a goal.
Yeah.
If you saw it.
I didn't see it, but
they passed it back to Antonio in front of net by accident.
Okay.
And he's like, cheers, lads. So not the most difficult one he'll ever score, but a goal is a goal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess to wrap up the pod, we do our player picks. You hit with Pookie. last week.
I did.
And I got an assist from Bamford.
You did? Yeah, I mean, I only beat you by 1 point because Pookie got no bonus. So I got a 6-pointer off of Pookie. You got a 5-pointer off of Bamford. In total, we're sitting at, let's see. So I had, that's 14 plus 12 is 26. Plus 15 is 41. I'm at 41. Yeah. You are at 17 plus 2 is 19 plus 10 is 29 plus 3 is 32, sorry. And then plus 5 is 37.
37. So you're up 4. So you're still up 4. You're up 1
still
more
close. Still really close.
Yeah.
I do, I'm 5 for 5. So
I know.
It's getting freaky at this point, to be honest.
And you're going first this week. So
no, I went first last.
No. I did.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Because I took Bamford and then you took Pookie.
You are right, sir. So let me I'm going to kind of talk this out in my head as I normally do, just looking at the fixtures here.
Who have you taken so far?
So I've taken Greenwood, Mahrez, Vardy, Auba, and Pookie. You have taken Salah, Sarr, Son, Traore, and Bamford.
Yeah.
So we still got a lot to play with here.
Oh, yeah.
The fixtures that stand out for me are West Ham at Leeds, Everton at Norwich. I don't think I want to go there, though, just because they don't have either the strikers, or at least the main strikers. Leicester at home to Burnley I do like, but I've already used Vardy, and it's a
very interesting one, but Burnley defend very well, and Leicester's midfield has been fairly abysmal.
Yeah, so I don't like any attacking options there. I do like Watford at home to Newcastle. Do I want to back Sarr getting a goal 2 weeks in a row? Kind of makes me nervous. Liverpool away to Brentford I like, but I don't think I want to whip out one of the big boys for this one.
No, you hit Salah. That's why I was so nervous week 1, because I was like, if I'm picking Salah, I have to hit, and he gave me 17.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant pick.
But you have to hit if you use a big boy.
So this is a tough one, Ben. Actually, this is a tough game week, to be honest. I think I'm actually, I'm gonna go with my gut, and I'm taking Mikel Antonio.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
I figured you would.
I gotta go with my gut here.
Yeah, no, I knew you would, the way you were talking about him. And because of that, it leaves me with one option and nothing other than to piss you off.
Okay.
Damari Gray.
Dude, I can't wait to cheer for him cheer against him extra this week.
Gray has no other striker options. My brother's going to be going forward.
Hey, honestly,
Rondon taking shots.
Yeah.
Norwich's defense, if he plays on the right, which he has it sometimes, can swap wings. Even against Max Aarons, who pushes up a lot, Gray on the counter is going to be terrific.
Yeah.
I'm giving him a shout. I know a lot of other FPL owners. He's risen twice in price, so I'm not alone on this.
No, all jokes aside, I don't think he's a good pick long term, but I do like him for this fixture.
It's against Norwich. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So,
all right, well, that's in the book. So I went Antonio, and you went Gray. We'll see if I can keep it 6 for 6, Ben.
Yeah, we will see. It's gonna be. I mean, Leeds, Bielsa. He's gonna know like what their kids eat for breakfast and stuff over there at West Ham, because he's insane like that. But anyways, that does it. Do you have anything else, or is that?
No, we just got to go through questions that were sent in, and then we will.
Oh yeah, questions.
Up. So
questions, go for it.
I think we had 1 or 2 questions. Let me pull them up real quick. The main one that stood out was question from Hunter Gardner. He said, on a game week where no one's injured, what do you look for, whether to make a transfer and who it should be? So it's kind of a generic question overall. I'll kind of answer that to start off, but it's just, it's hard to answer that question without seeing your team, Hunter, but it's a situation where if you like the team, or if you like the way your team lines up for next game week, if you don't have any glaring, issues, I'm an advocate for rolling the transfer. However, if you've had somebody in your team that hasn't returned for multiple weeks on end and you kind of want to get them out, then the generic FPL advice in that situation is work on the holes in your team. What's the weakest link? And then go replace it and go from there. So, like I said, I don't have your team in front of me, but that's kind of the generic thing. If you don't have injuries, if you don't have any really bad matchups or fixture swings for players, if they have a sustainable bad run of fixtures, maybe you want to look to get them out as well. Attack a team with good fixtures. That's kind of it,
That was all I was gonna say. Is
Yeah.
if you're happy with it, roll your transfer, double down. You can do more with moving 2 players than one.
Right.
The only thing is if you have a player who is healthy but you really don't like his fixture this week, say you have Ivan Toney and you really don't like the fact that he's going to be going up against Virgil van Dijk, and you want to move to someone else, do it.
Right.
But other than that, stick with your gut and roll your transfer if you have to. If you have to bite the bullet for a week, you bite the bullet for a week. But
Right.
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. And then the other question we had was, let's see, what club are you targeting to get the most players from right now?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
They have an incredible run of fixtures. I'm trying to roll over 2 transfers right now to bring in Lukaku. I already have Rudiger because I brought him in on my wild card. Now I'm expecting to do what he did against Tottenham, but for what I expect clean sheets for a while.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Chelsea, and a sneaky one for me is Arsenal.
Yeah.
There is a good run of fixtures there. If you're looking to go a little under the premium with Alba like I have, I don't think it's that bad of a shout.
Yeah, not horrible. I would agree with you. I mean, Chelsea obviously have City next week, so for this game week, I would probably stay clear of Chelsea. But after next game week, yeah, that's the team I'm probably looking at the most and moving forward. So
Leeds as well. I'll say Leeds as well.
Yeah, Leeds and Chelsea are probably the main
Leeds and
two.
Chelsea have 2 very good runs of fixtures. So
yep. And then the last question we had was a troll question from my fiance saying, "Did you hear that I'm an FPL sidekick?" But
yes,
credit where it's due. She played her wild card this week and popped off.
No, she had 83 points. Brighton's fiance Chris had an 83-point
Chris's
game week.
Fiance Brighton, but yeah.
Yes.
Close enough.
Sorry. You know what I mean. Y'all are getting married, whatever.
Yeah.
She had 83-point game week. A little fortunate at times with some of her bench players coming in, but points are points at the end of the day. She wild carded, was the highest scorer in our mini league.
Yeah.
And it's funny that she says, "Did you hear?" Because I'm not sure if you could have heard her all the way down in 10th, but it's really nice that you did.
Oh, you didn't talk trash. Hey, she's 10 points behind you. She's chomping at the bit, bro.
I know she's coming. I'm well aware that she's coming. But
all right. Yeah, no, but that's about it. That's all the questions we had this week.
That's it. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. Feel free to send us more questions. Send us if you have a specific question related to your team and you send in your team, we will pull up your team and discuss it at the end of each pod.
Yeah.
We're happy to do that. So once again, make sure that if you are not subscribed to the YouTube, down below, click that subscribe button, smash that like button. Let's get more than 4 likes on this video.
Wow, you're just asking for a lot, aren't you?
I went for 12 million once, so now I'm going the opposite end.
Fair enough. That makes sense, to be honest.
I want to add somewhere in the middle, maybe.
Yeah, no, it would be awesome if we can hit above 25 subscribers by the end of the week.
That would be sick.
There
if
we
get
go.
Above 25
we just got to set the bar
awesome.
low at the first and then just move on up, you know?
That's what I do with Arsenal every week.
Hey, amen.
So, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. We are at Borderline FPL. Tweet us your questions, tweet us your comments about the pod, tweet us your teams. We are happy to discuss them on the pod. We typically record on Sundays and Mondays. So,
and we'll always send out a tweet ahead of time.
Tweet out like, "Hey, we're recording tonight. Drop questions below."
Yeah.
So do that. DM us whatever you want. But I think that just about does it before the next game week. So,
everyone, good luck. Thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, tune in next week. Send us in questions, and we appreciate you being here. But that does it for us. My name's Chris.
My name is Ben. Good night, y'all.
We'll see you guys.